Juan Manuel Márquez. Juan Manuel Márquez Méndez, born August 23, 1973, is a Mexican former professional boxer who competed from 1993 to 2014. He is the third Mexican boxer after Érik and Jorge Arce to become a world champion in 4 weight classes, having held 9 world championships including the WBA Super, IBF and WBO featherweight titles between 2003 and 2007, the WBC Super featherweight title from 2007. In a career that spanned over 20 years, Márquez was known for being a fast and highly technical boxer who was exceptionally skilled at combinations and counterpunches, yet also willing to engage in slugfests with opponents. He was also credited for his toughness and never lost a fight by stoppage. His most notable bouts include his 4-fight saga with Manny Pacquiao and his fight against fellow Mexican Marco Antonio Barrera. Márquez is considered to be one of the greatest boxers of all time and is ranked by BoxRec as the 7th greatest fighter of all time and the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, pound for pound. Amateur career. Márquez had an amateur record of 82-4, with 72 wins by knockout. Professional career. Featherweight. He made his professional boxing debut at age 19 on May 29, 1993, losing via disqualification to Javier Duran. Márquez remained undefeated for 6 years, compiling a 29-1 record that included wins against future champions Agapito Sanchez, Julio Gervasio and Alfred Cote. In 1997, Márquez won the WBO NABO featherweight title, which he defended 7 times. During this time, he was referred to as the best fighter without a world title. Márquez was WBO featherweight champion Nassim Haim's mandatory challenger for 22 straight months. However, the WBO allowed Haim to schedule other fights instead. During this time, Márquez worked as an accountant while training under Ignacio Beristain in Mexico City. Márquez would keep this job until winning his first world title in 2004. Márquez vs. Norwood. In 1999, Márquez faced Freddie Norwood for the WBA featherweight title instead. Márquez was knocked down in the 2nd round. In the 8th round, Norwood's glove touched the canvas after an exchange. However, it was not ruled a knockdown by the referee, who was standing opposite to the action. In the 9th round, Márquez scored a knockdown after a 2-punch combination. Márquez lost by a controversial unanimous decision. HBO Punchstat had Norwood landing 73 out of 290 punches thrown to Márquez's 89 of 444. On November 20, 1999, Márquez faced Remigio Molina and defeated him in 8 rounds. In 2000, he defeated former champion Daniel Jimenez, and 5 fights later, he defeated future champion Robbie Pedden in 10 rounds and captured the NAF and USPA featherweight titles. Featherweight champion. Márquez received his 2nd bout for a world title on January 2, 2003, when he defeated former 4-time featherweight champion Manuel Medina and captured the vacant IBF featherweight title. In the 2nd round, Márquez connected with a 3-punch combination that floored Medina. The fight was stopped in the 7th round after Márquez knocked Medina down for a 2nd time. He then defeated Derek Gainer later in the year in a unification bout to win the WBA featherweight title and become the WBA Super Champion. Márquez vs. Pacquiao Pacquiao. In May 2004, Márquez fought lineal and the ring featherweight champion. Márquez outboxed Pacquiao for the remainder of the bout, which was ended in a controversial split decision draw. The final scores were 115-110 for Márquez, 115-110 for Pacquiao, and 113-113. Judge Bert A. Clements, who scored the bout 113-113, later admitted to making an error on the scorecards because he had scored the first round as 10-7 in favor of Pacquiao instead of the standard 10-6 for a 3-knockdown round. Defending unified titles. On September 18, 2004, Marquez made his first appearance on pay-per-view, being on the undercard of Bernard Hopkins vs. Oscar de la Hoya, defeating and retaining his unified titles against future champion Orlando Salido. On May 7, 2005, he made his fourth title defense and first appearance on Showtime Championship Boxing, facing Victor Polo while walking away with a unanimous decision victory. In August 2005, Marquez was stripped of his WBA and IBF unified featherweight titles for his inability to defend them against various boxers after potential bouts failed to draw a bid. Marquez vs. John. In 2006, Marquez attempted to regain a title, coming up short in a unanimous decision loss to undefeated Indonesian boxer Chris John in Indonesia for the WBA featherweight championship title. The loss led to the Ring magazine's removal of Marquez from its pound for pound. In late 2006, Marquez captured the interim WBO featherweight title by defeating Thai boxer Turdzak Jandine. He defended it against Filipino boxer Jimrex Jacko with a 9-round knockout in Hidalgo, Texas. Marquez was promoted to world champion status in December 2006 when previous champion Scott Harrison vacated the title. Marquez vacated the featherweight title the following year to challenge WBC super featherweight champion Marco Antonio Barrera. Super featherweight. Marquez vs. Barrera. On March 17, 2007, Marquez became the WBC super featherweight champion by defeating Barrera in Las Vegas via unanimous decision by the official scores of 116-111, 116-111, and 118-109. Marquez's first defense of his title was to be held on September 15, 2007 against Argentinian boxer Jorge Rodrigo Barrios. However, Barrios withdrew from the bout due to injury, prompting American boxer Rocky Juarez to challenge Marquez for the title on November 3, 2007 in a losing effort. Marquez vs. Pacquiao Roman II. Lightweight. Marquez vs. Casimero. Casimero, vs. Casimero. Marquez moved up to the lightweight division in order to fight the ring lightweight champion Joel Casimero on the weekend leading up to Mexican Independence Day at the MGM Grand, Las Vegas, Nevada. On September 13, 2008, he defeated Casimero in the 11th round after 2 knockdowns and captured his 6th world title in 3 different weight classes. In the first 4 rounds of the bout, Marquez continually walked into counterpunches from Casimero. It took Marquez until the 5th round to be able to find the range with his right hand. By the 5th round, a cut over Casimero's right eye was opened from a clash of heads. Rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8 were rounds where Marquez landed straight punches from the outside, but he was also struck by Casimero whenever he lunged forward. 2 minutes into the 11th round, Casimero was knocked down by a right punch as he pulled away from an intense exchange. Casimero was able to get on his feet, but it was clear he was still shaky from the knockdown. As soon as the action was allowed to resume, Marquez went in for the kill as he let his punches go in furious combination. Casimero punched back, but he was knocked down again with about 7 seconds left in the round. Referee Tony Weeks stepped in the bout and stopped the fight as he deemed Casimero unable to continue. The official judges had the fight scored 95-95, 95-95, and 97-93 for Marquez before the 11th round knockout. After the win, the ring ranked Marquez second on its pound-for-pound list and rated him the number 1 boxer in the lightweight division. Marquez vs. Diaz Diaz On February 28, 2009, Marquez defeated former WBA, WBO, and IBF lightweight champion Juan Diaz by knockout. Diaz controlled the fight early in the bout as the two boxers exchanged punches. Diaz opened a cut above Marquez's right eye in the fifth round and looked to control the bout, but Marquez responded by opening a gash above Diaz's right eye and stunning him with a left hook before the end of the eighth round. Marquez landed two hard rights to Diaz's face in a three-punch combination that knocked Diaz down with 35 seconds remaining in the ninth round. Diaz rose, but seconds later Marquez followed with a right uppercut to the chin that knocked Diaz down for a second time. Referee Rafael Ramos waved an end to the fight after 2 minutes and 40 seconds of the ninth round. With the victory, Marquez defended his the ring lightweight title and claimed the vacant WBO and vacant WBA super lightweight titles. This bout was named Fight of the Year for 2009 by the Ring magazine and ESPN.com. After the fight, Marquez expressed an interest in fighting Floyd Mayweather Jr. Welterweight. Marquez vs. Mayweather. Marquez moved up to the welterweight division and fought undefeated pound-for-pound champion Floyd Mayweather Jr. The fight was scheduled to take place at 144-pound catch weight on July 18, 2009 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, but was postponed due to a rib injury sustained by Mayweather. The bout was rescheduled and held on September 19, 2009. During the official weigh-in, Marquez weighed in at 142 pounds, and Mayweather weighed in at 146 pounds, thereby incurring a financial penalty as he was 2 pounds over the catch weight. It was later discovered that both parties had agreed just before the weigh-in to allow Mayweather fight over the catch weight, with Mayweather paying additional $600,000 due to arriving 2 pounds over the 144. Mayweather controlled the action in the fight. Marquez struggled to conquer Mayweather's defense and could not get out of the way of his counterpunches. Marquez landed only 19% of his punches according to CompuBox punch stats. Mayweather knocked Marquez down in the second round. Mayweather won the fight by unanimous decision. This was the fifth non-heavyweight fight in boxing history to sell more than 1 million pay-per-views, with the official HBO numbers totaling about $52 million. It was also the first fight to sell more than 1 million PPV without featuring Oscar de la Hoya. 2 months later, Manny Pacquiao vs. Miguel Cotto would sell 1.25 million PPV. Return to lightweight. Marquez vs. Diaz Roman II. When asked upon his return to the lightweight division, Marquez said, "I came back to lightweight because at welterweight I lost a lot of speed." Marquez then began negotiations for a rematch with Juan Diaz. Golden Boy CEO Richard Schieffer said the fight for Marquez's title was being planned for July 10 as the main event of an HBO PPV card. He said it would probably take place at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. After his comeback in 2010, fellow Mexican boxer Érik Morales said he would like to fight Marquez. Morales returned 2 divisions higher in 2010 as a welterweight. However, Marquez has also stated that he would be interested in a fight with Ricky Hatton. The Marquez-Diaz rematch took place on July 31, 2010 at the Mandalay Bay. Marquez's titles were also at stake. Prior to the bout, the WBO ordered the Marquez-Diaz winner to fight mandatory challenger Michael Katsidis. Marquez won the fight by a unanimous decision by the official scores of 117-111, 116-112, and 118-110. After the Diaz rematch, Marquez stated that he was interested in pursuing a third fight with Manny Pacquiao. There was also a possibility of him moving up to light welterweight to face any of the title holders at the time, Timothy Bradley, Devin Alexander, or Amir Khan, all of whom were fighting on HBO. Marquez vs. Katsidis. A few weeks after the Juan Diaz fight, Golden Boy Promotions officially announced that Marquez would defend his lightweight titles against mandatory challenger WBO interim champion Michael Katsidis on November 27, 2010 at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, and that the bout would be televised live on HBO Championship. During the official weigh-in for their 135-lb bout, Marquez came in at 134 pounds, while Katsidis came in on the limit of 135 pounds. Despite being knocked down in the third round, Marquez came back and defeated Katsidis by a ninth-round TKO to retain the lightweight belts. At the time of the stoppage, the Mexican boxer was ahead on all the scorecards by 77-74, 78-74, and 76-75. During the post-fight interview, he once again expressed his interest in a third fight with Manny Pacquiao. Marquez is the oldest world champion in the history of the lightweight division. On January 4, the WBA no longer recognized Marquez as their super champion due to going 18 months without fighting a mandatory challenger as required by the organization's rules. Fernando Beltran of Zanfer Promotions stated that the WBA decision had no validity and that he would immediately send them a letter, since the deadline of May 2012 for the mandatory defense had not expired, and Marquez paid sanctioning fees to the WBA even for the last few non-lightweight fights. On January 26, Marquez was stripped of his WBO title, as he was considered to be moving up to the welterweight division. The WBO promoted interim title holder Ricky Burns to full champion status. The Ring magazine stripped of him of their championship on April 17. Light welterweight. Marquez moved up to light welterweight division to fight Licar Ramos on July 16, 2011 at Mexico. It was considered a tune-up fight before his third battle with Manny Pacquiao. The fight only lasted one round, with Marquez winning by technical knockout. Many experts queried whether Raman was hired to take a dive in order for Marquez to look good. Return to welterweight. Marquez vs. Pacquiao Roman 3. Marquez attracted controversy by hiring strength and conditioning coach Angel Momo Heredia Hernandez, who had supplied performance-enhancing drugs to sprinters Marion Jones and Tim Montgomery in 2000. On November 12, Marquez lost to Pacquiao via controversial majority decision. The decision was voted the robbery of the year in 2011 by the Ring magazine readers. Return to light welterweight. Marquez vs. Fedchenko. On April 14, 2012, Marquez defeated Ukrainian contender Serhiy Fedchenko via unanimous decision to capture the interim WBO light welterweight title by a clear margin with scores of 119-109. The WBO later updated him to full status WBO champion. Third return to welterweight. Marquez vs. Pacquiao Roman 4. Marquez fought Manny Pacquiao on December 8, 2012. The fight was for the WBO Champion of the Decade belt. Marquez knocked down Pacquiao in the third round with a looping right hook. In round 5, Pacquiao returned the favor, knocking down Marquez. Pacquiao went on the offensive in the sixth round. While behind the scorecards and with just 1 second left in the sixth round, Marquez countered Pacquiao's jab with an overhand right, sending Pacquiao face first to the canvas, resulting in a knockout. Pacquiao, who had not been knocked out in over 13 years since his loss to Mejan Singsarat in 1999, remained unconscious for several minutes. This was named the Ring magazine's Fight of the Year and Knockout of the Year and International Fight of the Year by the British website BoxRec. Marquez was also named International Fighter of the Year by the same publication. Marquez vs. Bradley. Marquez fought Timothy Bradley in a bout billed as the conquerors for his WBO welterweight title at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada on October 12. Marquez was looking to win a title in a fifth weight class. The fight went the distance as Marquez lost by split decision 115 minutes 113, 113 minutes 115, 112 minutes 116. CompuBox stats showed Bradley landed 168 punches of 562 thrown, while Marquez landed 153 punches of 455 thrown. However, Marquez connected on 115 power punches to Bradley's 86. In the post-fight interviews, Bradley said, "I gave him a boxing lesson. He couldn't touch me. I had complete control." Marquez replied, "I clearly won. I have been robbed 6 times in my career. You don't have to knock down the other guy to win the fight." The fight drew 375,000 ppv, buys on HBO ppv, and 13,111 in attendance, drawing a live gate of $2,998,950. Marquez vs. Alvarado. On May 17, 2014, at the Forum in Inglewood, California, Marquez was back in action in a welterweight bout against former WBO junior welterweight champion Mike Alvarado, 34-2, 23 KO for the WBO International Welterweight title. The fight was also a WBO welterweight title eliminator, with the winner to earn a mandatory shot against Manny Pacquiao for the title he regained April 12 against Timothy Bradley in their rematch. Despite the fight being a welterweight eliminator, it was agreed to be fought with a 143-pound maximum. Alvarado weighed in at 143.2 pounds. In a one-sided bout, Marquez defeated Alvarado by unanimous decision with the judges' scores of 119-108, 117-109, 117-109. Alvarado was down in round 8 and Marquez was knocked down in round 9. Inactivity and retirement. There were negotiations from January 2016 for a fight between Marquez and former four-weight division champion Miguel Cotto. The main issue between both camps being the weight, with Marquez looking to fight at no more than 147s and Cotto looking to fight at 150 featherweight catchweight. Miguel Cotto Promotions told ESPN.com that negotiations had broken down on August 2, as both camps could not settle on what weight the fight would be. After nearly 3 years out, Marquez announced he would be entering camp in January 2017. Marquez revealed he would have a named opponent and date for his next fight by the end of April 2017. Marquez had been training at the Almanza gym. According to trainer Ignacio Beristain, Marquez was looking to return in Toluca, Mexico, on June 24, 2017. It was then pushed back to August 19. Due to venues not being available for that date, Sanford Promotions said a date in September or October would be more suitable, with the venue being in Monterrey. On August 4, 2017, Marquez announced his retirement from professional boxing after a 21-year career. Marquez spoke to ESPN Deportes TV show Gulp a Gulp. "Today is a special and sad day for me because I'm announcing my retirement. The injuries pushed me to make this decision. It hurts, but I believe the right moment to put an end to my career has arrived. I would have loved to do a final fight to say goodbye inside the ring, but I have to listen to my body." He ended his career with a record of 56 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw, with 40 knockouts. Marquez admitted the decision was hard to make, but initially made the decision 10 days prior to announcing it. Personal life. Marquez was born in Mexico City. He grew up in a rough and poor area of Iztacalco, many of his friends succumbing to gang violence and dying young while he went on to box. Marquez has said that he has always been a good student and that he likes numbers. He studied and became an accountant and worked for several government agencies. He gave up on his accounting work and focused entirely on his boxing career. He started practicing boxing at the age of 8, inspired by his father's training. He stated that he likes to eat well and does not follow any kind of diet. His brother, Rafael Marquez, is a former world champion in the bantamweight and super bantamweight divisions. They both trained under Ignacio Beristain and assistant Gilbert Marquez. At one time, the two were listed in Ring Magazine's top 10 pound-for-pound list. They are one of 4 sets of Mexican brothers to hold world titles. Marquez and his wife, Erica, have 2 sons and a daughter. Márquez is a member of the PRI Institutional Revolutionary Party. Márquez has been a commentator on the ESPN boxing show Golpe a Golpe since 2011. Márquez makes an appearance in the 2005 video game Fight Night Round 2. Professional boxing record. Pay-per-view bouts.